Hi, I'm Amelia,
I'm Gracie.
And I'm Miles.
and we just wanted to thank you for allowing us this opportunity to work on the National Water Trail. Our concept is Experience Your River, Discover the Chattahoochee.
From exploring the deep-rooted historical and cultural heritage to unearthing its unique ecology, the Chattahoochee Water Trail will allow visitors the opportunity to discover their own recreational adventures and experiences along the river. After the site visit and experiencing the hooch for ourselves, we walked away with some questions and also some goals. We want to know, what is the sense of place of the Chattahoochee Water Trail? How do we create an identity using more than signage? Where are the stops along the Chattahoochee? Why is there an overwhelming sense of disconnect within the park units? And how can we change this? Our goals for the future are to establish a sense of place for the Chattahoochee National Water Trail that celebrates the unique ecology, heritage, and recreation opportunities. We will program for different user experiences on the river and surrounding recreation lands, and promote connections within the parklands and along the river itself.
We created a framework, a lens to look through when analyzing the Chattahoochee Natural Water Trail and Recreation Area, with contextual research, GIS layers, and exploration from our trip, photos, and experiences. We dove into analyzing 4 aspects of the water trail: internal and external links, recreational opportunities, cultural and heritage, and ecology. Time is a hindering factor when trying to analyze the entire 48 miles of the Chattahoochee, and so we made the executive decision to focus on a stretch of river that is closest in proximity to Atlanta's city's limits, has the most readily available resources to study, and also provides a wide range of different experiences we had on our site visit. This stretch of river spans from Island Ford to the Palisades at Paces Mill.
The first framework that we looked at were making links along the water trail. We did this by analyzing, optimizing, and developing more links within the national park units and creating a larger network of physical connections inside the park as well as connections regionally. First, we looked at the locations where we believed water access was lacking and proposed some more possible river access points such as Vickery Creek and Gold Branch. Similarly, we looked at areas where trail connections could be made to connect more park units together, such as Island Ford to Vickery Creek and Cochran Shoals to Powers Island. The next framework we observed was recreation. The recreation trail is all about utilizing the existing recreational opportunities and connecting them along the water trail. There are many more locations where existing trails could be connected along the river to make a more expansive and connected trail network. We also looked at possible river camping locations based on the existing development and topography, as we would need minimal development and low-lying areas along the river.
The Heritage Trail recognizes the culturally rich histories, ruins, fish weirs, bridges, and more that would make up the stops along the Chattahoochee Water Heritage Trail. There are different ways to experience and learn about these places, such as self-guided tours either with maps, interpretive signs, headsets, or they could be formally programmed and guided by an NPS ranger. Most of the discovered heritage hotspots are inland and would have to require river floaters to get out of the water, but other stops, such as bridges and fish weirs, could be represented with large in-water signs. These areas would most likely be places to linger, as new development might be focused around them.
The Ecological Trail would explore flora and fauna of the Chattahoochee, surrounding geology, and issues such as pollution, erosion, and invasive species. Using GIS, geological maps, and experiences from our visit, we found hotspots of high-density points of interest. These points may include protected plant species, invasive species, wildlife, geologic features, and areas prone to pollution. After analysis, we found that the best stops for the Eco Trail would be Island Ford, Vickery Creek, Cochran Shoals, Interstate North and Powers Island, and East Palisades.
An overall synthesis of the 12-mile stretch designates areas to capitalize on and develop further as recreational programs, areas to conserve because they are ecologically sensitive, areas to conserve because of cultural and significant heritage, where to design physical links within the park system, and areas to focus on enhancements because of regional external links. With an understanding of these aspects, the next question is to explore what is this sense of place, and how do people experience these places.
When visitors come to the Chattahoochee, they come with certain mindsets. They may want to escape their busy lives, or they may want to have a quick picnic with their family. We created a tier system to categorize each unit's potential, considering its surroundings, existing trail systems and facilities, and history. Units that escape the city are more undeveloped, promote individual activities, and have a sense of the unknown and unfamiliar. These units can act as a challenge for city dwellers to get out into nature. They're the true gateway to the national parks. While escape units are one extreme, units that embrace the city are another. The most urban of the categorizations, embracing units are highly developed and familiar for visitors. They are an easy and comfortable environment for visitors on their own or in groups to experience nature, but are more like a city park that act as a gateway to nature. Units that acknowledge the city are a middle ground. There is a balance between city and nature where visitors can explore nature comfortably. The built environment recognizes the surrounding city, but does not overpower nature.
In the units that embrace the city, the landscape will be comfortable and familiar for visitors. Vegetation will be highly maintained and used as architectural features to be aesthetically pleasing and stimulating. Trails will be multi-use and highly accessible so that a wide range of visitors are able to enjoy the park. These more urban units provide the opportunity for more programming and infrastructure, while in turn would support different vendors and outfitters, as well as a wide range of activities such as picnic areas and playscapes. These embracing units will be the most urban and man-made of those on the trail, and the built features will bring visitors down and over to the water. Infrastructure will dominate the water with boardwalks, docks, and boat launches, but there will remain a sense of appreciation in respect of the river. The built environment will be constructed from natural materials with a modern take, and these uniquely urban parks will provide an opportunity to use new materials or designs in a way that both protrudes over and celebrates the landscape. Embracing units are a place for urban residents to escape the hustle and bustle of the city for a few hours or a day with their friends and family. These parks provide many chances for discovery and adventure through scenic river trails and guided ranger tours, where visitors can exercise, learn about the Chattahoochee, or just relax.
The next user experience is Acknowledge the City. These units that acknowledge the city are a sort of middle ground, a balance between nature and city. Vegetation will be managed for practical purposes to enhance visitor experiences. Trails will be accessible and typically paved with gravel to facilitate ease of use without being a highly apparent fixture upon the landscape. Programming will be more nature-oriented than those in the embracing units and will provide guided adventures for those less confident in their experiences with the outdoors. The river will provide the escape in the acknowledging units. Trails will lead you out of the urban environment and down to the water with boardwalks and overlooks. Any built features will be constructed from a mix of natural and urban materials, promoting a sense of balance. Acknowledging units provide an opportunity to discover in an environment completely unlike that of the city, while still feeling familiar, secure, and close to home.
The third user experience will be an escape from the city. Escape units will be maintained for safety and ease of use, but will remain largely untouched and wild. This is to promote a sense of being away for visitors who have come from an urban setting and to act as an area for those who wish to challenge themselves in a natural environment. The current trail systems will be maintained and there will be little programming, most of which will consist of interpretive, educational signage, and recreational activities that visitors will run themselves as opposed to a ranger-led program that would exist in a more urban unit. The focus in escape units will be on the water. Trails will lead along the river, with trails and boat ramps down to it, to encourage visitors to make the river their main mode of transportation between units. Infrastructure and signage will be used sparingly, only when necessary, and it would be made of natural and unassuming materials such as wood and stone. This is to promote a sense of wilderness and the land being untouched. These units will provide many opportunities for solitude and challenge when visitors desire it. It's a place for city dwellers to experience nature in a way they never have before.
We then applied each user experience to the NPS units along the 12-mile stretch. Gold Branch as Escape, Island Ford, Vickery Creek, Johnson Ferry, and the Palisades as Acknowledged, and Cochrane Shoals as Embrace. It is important to know that this general mapping is an average of how the unit falls on the tier pyramid, either embracing, acknowledging, or escaping the city. The average of the unit does not necessarily mean the whole unit is experienced in one way.
We thought the best way to explain our user experience plan was to talk about some current park units and what we see for them moving forward. The first example is Island Ford, which was zoned by the NPS as historic and rustic. From this, we decided the Island Ford unit would fall under the acknowledged category. This is due to the existing development of the NPS headquarters for the Chattahoochee Water Trail, while also respecting the NPS mission of natural preservation. As the NPS headquarters, this site demands certain development to accommodate more visitors moving forward, but also to maintain a balance of natural preservation along the river. The next example of an acknowledged user experience is at Vickery Creek. Like Island Ford, Vickery Creek was zoned by the NPS as rustic. This unit has some important historical and cultural resources, as well as an event hall at the entrance to the park. This is an opportunity to embrace some of the city at the beginning of the park, while fading to more of an escape the further along you get down the trails, creating a balance. The informal programs of this site would be swimming in the falls, while the more formal programs would be along the trails and facilities.
We zoned Gold Branch as an escape unit due to the previous NPS zoning it as a natural unit. We wish to preserve the natural environment since it is largely untouched and it's surrounded by low residential density, so there's little future of expansion. There is an expansive trail system, but no connection to the water, which could be remedied through the addition of a boat ramp in the future. Its less densely populated surroundings and high acreage provide an opportunity for escape and to be immersed in nature. Johnson Ferry is zoned as acknowledged due to its land and river access potential. The NPS has zoned it as historic, natural area recreation, developed, and rustic. It is one of the only developed zones in this 12-mile stretch. Its current layout and facilities provide opportunities to create a more urban-focused area with portions that can be more nature-oriented.
Cochrane Shoals is zoned as embraced because it already has a high user frequency and is near a major highway crossing as an important external link regionally. Cochrane Shoals' lower point is more urban than the historically and ecologically rich area of Soap Creek, but Soap Creek is still highly used as well. As a whole, after the sewer overflow is remediated, Cochrane Shoals has the potential to become a river rock promenade. The Palisades unit is designated by the NPS as a natural and developed zone and falls under the acknowledged category. The east side of the Palisades is surrounded by low residential and has limited parking, making it perfect for an escape. The West Palisades are more popular due to features such as Diving Rock, and at the moment, in this area, it also has limited parking, but with further development of the facilities and parking, this area would acknowledge the city. Pace's Mill currently has a boat ramp, picnic area, and a large parking lot, while still constantly being over capacity. With further infrastructure and facility enhancements, this area would be well suited to embrace the city. But as a whole, from a zoomed out perspective, the Palisade is acknowledged. Narrowing down a specific unit, we decided to look at the Palisades. The Palisades is very unique in the way that the unit has every user experience. East Palisades as escape, West Palisades as acknowledged, and Pace's Mill as embrace. There is also the opportunity to expand the NPS development across the river to what we could call East Pace's Mill. This all creates a unique opportunity to program and plan this unit. If we were to implement this conceptual plan tomorrow, the Palisades is the place to do it first.
Due to its low density but wealthy residential surroundings and being zoned by the NPS as a natural zone, East Palisades has little potential for expansion of programming. There is a network of existing isolated trails to provide an escape for visitors, but little room for any large-scale infrastructure, as there is little parking other than Whitewater Creek Trailhead, which is already over capacity. Density of ecological and cultural resources provides opportunity for educational programming, which could be accomplished through interpretive signage that complies with the desired look and feel of an escape unit. Some proposed additions to East Palisades may be a specific place for solitude and meditation among the shoals at Devil's Racecourse, scenic outlook posts, which include the existing Poppy's Point, but an additional outlook on top of Diving Rock, which may be called Devil's Overlook Deck. Implementing a trailhead for the trail that connects East Palisades with the surrounding communities, an eco-trail stop in a valley in the south of East Palisades, which would be implemented through interpretive signage. Lastly, at Whitewater Creek, the steps to get down to the beach are tall and unwieldy, and we propose steps at the more human and dog scale to promote ease of use. West Palisades has existing trail connections to Paces Mill and many access points to the water, which are already popular recreation destinations for visitors. It acts as a gateway between the more urban Paces Mill unit and the escape that is East Palisades. Further programming would promote a sense of connection between the three subunits.
West Palisades Beach and Boardwalk enhances what is already present, but creating a different way to experience the water's edge. The West Palisades multi-use trail stems from the expanded parking lot at West Palisades Trailhead, which exists already, allowing for better access to the water, looping around and then heading back to the parking lot. Acres Boardwalk is a more natural expansion of the slope to look out onto the waters of the shoal. Lastly, another concept to be implemented is an overlook. The overlook was sited on the high point of the West Palisades lands. It was also the closest to the water. The trail leading up would be multi-use, allowing for higher accessibility.
As it is one of the only NPS developed zones, Paces Mill embraces the city. It is the terminus of the water trail and is nearby to many regional connections. The northern section is a connection to the city through the Bob Callan Rottenwood Creek Trail, and this provides opportunity for shorter visits from the nearby corporate business park. Proposed additions to Paces Mill include Rottenwood Park and Trailhead at the western section of the unit for lunchtime stops along the Bob Callan Rottenwood Creek Trail for corporate business park visitors to have a more feasible destination during a lunch break walk. A river walk and extension of the Rottenwood Creek Trail would provide connection to neighborhood residents. Pavilions would provide rentable spaces but could also be used for picnics or informal gatherings, and a child natural play space or learning space could be a playground that reflects nature but also promotes learning.
There is the opportunity to expand NPS development over to the other side of Paces Mill, which can be considered East Paces Mill. Across the river is an untouched forest, which is a buffer between two schools, medium residential, and commercial land uses. The future could either be acknowledging or embracing. There is potential for a pedestrian bridge under I-75 to connect the two sides. Bringing the community to the river can be done by partnerships with the schools and other businesses. So, experience your river. Thank you.